Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us here for this NSGA competition policies and COVID-19 updates. Um, so just a couple of housekeeping items before we start. Everybody is on mute, so there's no background noise. On your upper left corner, there is a chat bubble. Please submit your questions to that chat area, and we will address them throughout the presentation. So we will begin. So on this call, we have our executive director, David Campbell, our technical director, Ann Balser, and myself, Bryce Zink, operations manager. We also have a number of our rules officials with us as well on this call. So we have pretty much almost everybody from the NSGA here, so which is fantastic. So going through, starting with, we'll read if you can't see the presentation, we will go over it line by line. The first presentation we've done was just under 30 minutes. So, but any questions or anything like that want to be directly to one of us, please contact us at any time. Introduction. So to begin, the recommendation and guidance provided in this presentation was designed to assist competitors when taking part in NSGA championships during COVID-19. This presentation was prepared using information and policies provided by Golf Canada and PGA of Canada Atlantic and Golf New Brunswick. So our general protocols. On the screen, we do have an infographic up there, responsible golf guidelines that we adopted from the CPGA and CPGA, just outlining everything that our club protocols are implementing at this time, as well as us during our championships. Next slide. So risk assessment and pre-screening. This year, we're submitting to all competitors liability forms. All competitors are expected to read, sign, and submit the NSGA 2020 competitions liability form prior to competing in any NSGA championship. If this liability form is not completed, competitors will not be permitted to participate. Now, to elaborate on this a little bit more, if you cannot virtually sign and send this agreement in, we also have this option at a registration desk at each of our championships. So when you go to check in on your first day of the championship, you can sign this waiver, and then you're good to go. Pre-screening. Now, this is before you sign up or play in a championship. Players will not be permitted to compete in a 2020 NSGA championship if any of the following statements apply. Experience any of the following symptoms: fever, cough, difficulty breathing, have been in contact with someone diagnosed with COVID-19 in the last 14 days, and have traveled outside the Atlantic provinces within the last 14 days. And just to elaborate on this a little bit more, we'll also cover this a little bit later in the slideshow, but each club that you will be visiting will have a greeter who will ask you these series of questions prior to entering the parking lot of each property. This is just a part of the pre-screening process before registration. Next slide.
Did it not go?
There we go. So our general guidelines. All general guidelines from Nova Scotia Health Authority, the host club's operational plan, and the NSGA tournament policies must be adhered at all times. This includes, but is not limited to, physical distancing is maintained at all times, ensuring that player, volunteers, or spectator gatherings do not exceed the restrictions set by the province of Nova Scotia. No caddies or spectators on course, and do not remove the flag stick. And we ask that no high fives, handshakes, or any other forms of physical contact are permitted during competition. Self-assessment. So the self-screening, all players, staff, and volunteers are expected to stay home if they answer yes to any of the following questions. Are you feeling sick or experience flu-like symptoms? Have you recently been tested for COVID-19 and are currently awaiting test results? Have you tested positive for COVID-19 and are not yet been fully recovered? Have you been in contact or someone affected with COVID-19 within the last 14 days? Have you traveled outside of the province or country and returned in the last 14 days? So again, it's just reiteration of the pre-screening process that you're going to come across when you enter each facility, when you enter each property for host championships. And at any time if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them in the chat bubble or in the chat section there. We will address them as they come in. So championship specific protocols. So arrival and check-in. So the check-in, players are permitted to arrive at the course a maximum of 40 minutes prior to their tee time. Competitors must check in with the volunteer greeter, who will be located at the entrance of the club parking lot. Any player who arrives too early will be asked to remain in or beside their vehicle until 40 minutes prior. So this is to ensure that all of our traffic, there's no gathering points, and this helps people manage everybody coming in on the golf course and be able to have a lot of time to practice, warm up, and use the facilities as they may prior to the championship or prior to your tee time. Parking lot participants should do their best to not park immediately beside another person at their vehicle, and be prepared. It is the most important that players are prepared to be self-sufficient while at the golf course. Players should bring their own food, water, sunscreen, hand sanitizer, etc. The NSGA will not be providing competitors with any of the provisions prior to teeing off. So as most of our events from the past, we do include a meal on day 2. It varies what the meal options are. It varies by the host venue, what their current operational plans are, but there will be food served, and there is food service at each of the clubs as of right now. So, but the players, again, are responsible for bringing in their own provisions. Registration. So when you come in to register, there is general guidelines. Competitors are expected to check in a registration table each day upon arriving to the club. Here, competitors will receive player documents and tee gifting. So I'll just elaborate on that more. This year, we're sponsored by TaylorMade, Adidas, and Jaguar Land Rover Halifax. With all the men's and women's amateurs coming up, you'll be getting a TaylorMade tee gifting, along with a hole-in-one prize for a new car from Jaguar Land Rover at each event. If the competitor has not done so already, a liability waiver may be signed and submitted here at registration. Player documents. All player documents, hole locations, pairings, local rules, etc. will be uploaded to the tournament information page prior to the competition. So where you, as the competitor, have registered on our website, that is where all of our pin locations and any other information will be posted online for you to either have an electronic copy of this, and it will also be provided at the event as well. Upon registration, competitors will receive a printed copy of all documents for the day. So when you do check in, as I said earlier, you will receive a player's package, which will include all those items that we mentioned earlier. So next slide. Warm-up. So the general guidelines for warm-up after registration. Competitors are expected to adhere to public health protocols at all times while using the practice facilities. Now we just finished the course review at the lakes, but Chemo specifically, it's a good brisk walk, a decent walk, about 3.5 minutes from practice green to the range tee and then back. So you're looking at about a 7-minute turnaround to get back to the facility. So there is it's a bit of a walk, but it's good. It's not very long. The lakes is something very different, but that doesn't really concern anybody, or not very many in this room currently. So, and then the Oak Field, everything is fairly close by, so there's no hold up there for getting from point A to point B. Driving range and short game areas. Players are entitled to use the driving range and or short game areas prior to their tee time. So again, within that allotted time from your 40 minutes arriving to check in to the range, that's your time to use for those for your warm up. And be mindful. So when using practice facilities, please be respectful of the limited time all competitors have to prepare for the round. Use only the time necessary to prepare for your round. So again, if you're practicing and there's a bit of a backup on the tee or on the range for practice facilities, we will, if we do have to, we move things along. But at this time, it should be fine within the allotted time that we have given to all competitors to keep the traffic going. Next slide. First tee procedures. Competitors are expected to report to the first tee a minimum of 10 minutes prior to their scheduled time. If there is a delay, players should remain near the first tee until the area is clear, or until the first tee is clear. So if there is a bit of a backup for a variety of reasons on the first tee, Kembo, for instance, the putting green might not be the answer. There is areas left of the clubhouse, left of the tee that we use as a designated area to for the teams that are, the groups that are on deck. So that's what we're alluding to on that. But again, make sure that prior to checking with the starter, that the tee is clear and everybody's already heading down the fairway. Player supplies. The NSGA will not be providing competitors with regular first tee items: pencils, Sharpies, ball markers, tees, bug spray or sunscreen, etc. Players are asked to come prepared with their own equipment. So again, come be self-sufficient, come prepared. This is a protective measure for the volunteers that are running or helping run our events and the competitors themselves. So we've eliminated all the touch points, so we're not going to be sharing those provisions that we normally do on the first tee. Scorecards. Official tournament scorecards will be given to competitors at the starters tent. Competitors will be given the official scorecard of a fellow competitor within their group. There will be no exchange of scorecards among players. Instead, competitors will be given the official scorecard of a fellow competitor whose score they will be attesting. So for instance, if when I check in at the starter will ask which group I'm in or who am I playing with or what my tee time is. I will then advise him or her that it's at 8 o'clock. He will then give me, if Anne was playing with me, he will then give me Anne's card. And at that time, no one will be exchanging cards with each other. That is your card for the entire day. So that card belongs to you. So during the round, general guidelines: competitors are responsible for their own actions while on course and must adhere to the NSGA, host club, and public health protocols at all times. Spectators and caddies. Spectators on course and caddies will not be permitted during their 2020 competitions. Golf carts. The NSGA championship policy around golf carts is still in place. If a competitor chooses to take a golf cart, they must rent out their own cart if they wish. Competitors are now permitted to share golf carts.
So during the round, we have modified the rules of golf just a bit in a few areas in terms of bunkers and flag sticks. It's probably very similar to what you've already been playing with, so there shouldn't be much of a change. But just to keep you posted, that you won't be penalized if you're doing these things, just to keep you informed. So for the flag sticks, they must not be removed from the cup during competition. I believe our men's and women's AMs and our junior all have those pin caddies. So those will be used during the round. And then for the flag sticks, they must not be removed from the cup during competition. I believe our men's and women's AMs and our junior all have those pin caddies. So those will be used during the round. And then for the flag sticks, they must not be removed from the cup during competition. I believe our men's and women's AMs and our junior all have those pin caddies. So those will be used during the round. And all we ask is that if the pin caddy is being used during competition, upon completing the hole, please ensure that it is sitting at the bottom of the cup. We received a few comments that sometimes that they've been used a lot. Golf courses are very busy, that they get stuck. So just please ensure before moving on to the next hole that it is at the bottom of the cup, just as courtesy to the next group. For bunkers, there will be no rakes in bunkers, same as recreational play at the moment. After hitting a shot out of a bunker, players must repair the bunker to the best of their ability with their feet and or club. So that hasn't changed in terms of recreational golf. But for competitions, any severely disturbed lie within the bunker created by a previous competitor will be deemed an abnormal course condition. So the key there is a previous competitor. So any sort of divots or footprints or things like that from a competitor, you will be able to take relief from that condition, but must remain in the bunker. This is Rule 16.1C. If the player may take relief outside of the bunker for a one-stroke penalty. And again, that's Rule 16.1C, and that's number 2. So again, it's got to be a severely disturbed area from a previous competitor. So do your best to clean it. But again, if you get in the unfortunate situation that you are in a bunch of mess in the bunker, you are allowed to take relief outside of that mess. So you have to remain in the bunker. But again, it's a free relief. So are there any questions around that? It's pretty straight.
Alan says taking relief in bunker, drop or place.
It is a drop, so from the knee height. So you take your relief as per usual. So you have your relief area, your one club length around, and then you drop from the knee. All right. So weather delays and course evacuation. If play should be suspended for any reason, the NSGA will make the call a little earlier than normal. So we have a weather detector where we essentially tracks the dangerous weather. And usually we call about 5 minutes when it's 5 minutes away from our area. This year we will be making the call when it's 10 kilometers away, just to allow players more time to evacuate the course if necessary. For course evacuations, the NSGA referees will not be providing shuttles for competitors. Again, this is just a safety protocol. So unfortunately, if there is a course evacuation, could be shelter on course if you don't have to actually come back to the clubhouse. But if we do have to come back to the clubhouse, then we will be calling weather a little bit further away than usual. There was a question. Yeah.
So we do have a couple questions. So is the relief in the bunker drop no closer to the pin or anywhere in the bunker?
No closer to the hole.
No,
always no closer.
Yeah.
Nearest point of complete relief, and no closer to the hole. Yeah. So just review Rule 16 for that one, just to make sure that you are up to date. There is a drop for a abnormal course condition within a bunker. So return to play, a notification via email will be, so if a course evacuation happens, we encourage competitors to return to their vehicles. A lot of the different golf courses, they have different capacity in terms of how many people they can hold. So we do have to maintain social distance if a course evacuation does happen. So that's why we're encouraging competitors to return to their vehicles. In the duration for the delay. A notification via email will be circulated once play can resume. So just please make sure that you are subscribed to NSGA emails from Blue Golf. That is our tournament software. If you don't know if you're unsubscribed or if you're unsure, just shoot us an email and we can check that for you. Again, this is just a way we can communicate with competitors easily and ensure that they get the information. And if you don't have a cell phone, then you can come into the clubhouse and check in with an NSGA referee or tournament official. Return to play. Okay.
And
yeah.
So we have another question. This question comes from Kathy Donald. If I don't get the bunker shot out on the first try and the bunker rolls into my footprint, then there is no relief, correct?
I mean, we did say previous competitor, but we'll have to take that one back, to be honest, because where you created that disturbance, I'm not sure. We didn't actually discuss that, so I will take that one back, Kathy, and I will email. I'll email the competitors, or we'll put it in the notice to competitors on the website for that one. So, yeah, we didn't take that one back. Where you created it, it's a bit of a different situation. So.
Yeah, thank you, Kathy. That was a great question. Kathy also said, I don't think I should get relief, but thought I'd ask.
And Jill, one of our referees, says you shouldn't. So there we go. But again, we'll take it back to the committee and make sure and confirm that for sure.
I've also, for everybody, I've also posted my contact email and Anne's email as well. If you do have any additional questions after this call. Sorry, go ahead, Anne.
That's okay. So return to play will proceed in 3 waves, beginning with competitors on the furthest holes from the clubhouse. So again, we'll email out all the instructions as to how to return to play through that email notification for the competitors. So just make sure you are subscribed, like I said. And if you're unsure, just ask us or call or email us, and we'll double check that for you. So penalties, unfortunately, because of COVID and just like in golf, penalties do happen, and we want to ensure the safety of our competitors and our referees and staff. So unfortunately, if somebody does break any of these protocols, we will be enforcing penalties. So just not adhering to NSGA, host club, or public safety protocols and policies related to COVID-19 will be as follows. So the first offense will be a warning, because it could just be a mistake and you're not intentionally doing something wrong. It could just be, again, a mistake. So you can correct it and then you get a warning. The second offense will be a general penalty. Third offense will be a DQ. And then a serious breach will be an automatic DQ. So this is also very similar to our competitors' conduct policy. If you're misbehaving or just misconduct on the course or towards any staff. So again, penalties are unfortunate, but again, we have these in place so our staff, our volunteers, and our competitors are safe. So scoring tent, as usual, only one group is permitted at a time in the scoring area. Scoring verification will be a little different this year. Once a round is complete, competitors are expected to go right to the scoring tent. Competitors will verbalize their scores to each other. Once scores are confirmed amongst competitors, the official scorer will take a photo of each scorecard. And then once this photo is taken, the scorecard is deemed to be signed and submitted. So we will not be requiring signatures this year. Again, once this, we'll be taking a photo verification of scorecards for submission. So, and then anytime after that scores are submitted, you cannot come back and attest any scores. So scorecards will not be exchanged for confirmation. So sometimes competitors like to see their official scorecard to compare numbers. There will not be an exchange of that information. Player that wishes to see their official scorecard, the attester will place the card on the table and back away for the physical distancing, and the competitor may confirm scores without touching the card. I know I'm a competitor that likes to confirm my scores by looking at them, just go hole by hole. But this year there will not be that exchange. You can still confirm your scores by comparison. But again, we're just trying to eliminate those touch points. So it'll just be placed on the table, confirmed, and then that photo will be taken. So after the round, there will be no scoreboards this year, unfortunately. But again, touch points, gathering points, we're trying to eliminate those as much as possible. All scores will be posted online on the NSGA website and emailed to competitors once the rounds are completed for the day. So the same website where you find the tournament information, the draw, the pin sheets, you will find the results page as well. And again, we'll be sharing all the results through social media and emails as well. So you should be able to find the scores pretty easily. So Score Center, the NSGA will post all tournament scores to Score Center for handicapping purposes. So there will be no need to enter your scores. We will do that after the tournament has finished. So just to confirm that there aren't any duplicates, then we'll have to go in and delete after. But we will be posting those scores for you. Playoffs, if a playoff is required, competitors will not be permitted to spectate the playoff, similar to our spectator policy. Unfortunately, it's just gatherings that we're trying to eliminate again. So all tournament protocols and procedures will be in place. If a competitor is not present to take part in the playoff, it will be considered a forfeit. If no competitors are present for the playoff, retrogression will be used to determine a winner. So hopefully it doesn't come down to retrogression, but especially if you're in contention for the championship title, stick around. even if you're only a couple strokes off, it's always good to stick around until you know for sure. So award ceremony, there will be no official award ceremony following the competition. The champion will be awarded their trophy and permitted to make an acceptance speech. This presentation will be live streamed via Facebook or Instagram Live. So we do want to give the champion a chance to thank everyone and recognize their accomplishment for the year. So we will be live streaming these. We will announce all winners during this presentation. But unfortunately, no prizes will be claimed at that. We'll make sure that any gift certificates won will be mailed out after the championship. So a little bit of a change for this year. But host club protocols. So each club that is hosting an NSGA championship this year will have their own operational protocols in place. Every facility is different. Every facility has the capacity to host more people and do different things. So we just want to make sure that participants are aware of what those policies are. And again, they may differ from club to club. So along with the NSGA competition protocols, you can find these on our COVID resource page. So if you have any questions about anything in regards to the championship you are playing in, again, just email us or look at that resource page. And if you can't find it on that page, let us know and we'll make sure that it gets posted. Competitors are expected to be aware and adhere to these protocols while on site. And again, a failure to do so, unfortunately, results in penalties. So again, the first offense is a warning, second offense is general penalty, third offense is a DQ, and then a serious breach is an automatic DQ. So hopefully it doesn't come to that, but again, we have to have these protocols in place just to ensure that competitors and staff and volunteers are abiding by these. So, all right, are there any questions? Quick and painless.
Yeah, we'll just wait for about another 20 seconds here.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag, but again, all things are in place because we do want to keep safety of competitors and staff. We said it 100 times, but it is priority for us, and we want to make sure that where people are traveling from afar to play in our events, we want to make sure that safety is priority. So, Jill.
Yeah, so Jill said, Jill Rayfuse is, are there restrictions on the number of people who can use washrooms at the same time at Oakfield? So to answer your question, Jill, actually, I don't know if it would be an answer to your question, but at this time, that would be under the Oakfield protocols. And you were on site for that one. What was their protocol?
So Sarah Wilson's on the call. So she says one in on course and two ladies washrooms in the locker room. So I'm assuming that's in the clubhouse there's two, and then on course is only one person at a time.
And also Jill Rayfuse also said, also will time between nines allow for extra time for food, water, and washroom? So it doesn't necessarily change anything that has been in the past. Some of the tee time intervals are the same as the past or have been increased, but I believe at Oakfield it's specifically, or all events, is 10-minute intervals. So as long as there's no backup on the tees and things like that, still pace of play is still a huge factor here, as it has been with all past championships. So yes, if there's always time between the nines when we do our course review and how we set things up to use the facilities in between nines.
So Marg has a question: if a bunker is a mess and can the ball be lifted and the sand smooth out before dropping the ball? So yes, under Rule 16.1, the bunkers are deemed an abnormal course condition when there's a severely disturbed area from another competitor. So you are allowed to take relief out of that disturbed area, but you must remain within the bunker, no closer to the hole. Dalen, yes, push carts are permitted. So in terms of the golf carts, the NSGA policy is still in place. And that's where if you take a golf cart as an amateur, it does not qualify you to make a team to go to nationals. So where nationals are not happening, then that's up to the discretion of the competitor. So the competitors are responsible for booking their own cart through the club. And we are not requiring people to share carts, but I mean, that's a comfort thing. So, but you are responsible for booking your own cart, whether or not you share with another person. So Jill, Mark's question isn't like testing the condition of the bunker. In COVID case, we're not using that. We're not going to be using that sort of terminology, I suppose, because unfortunately we can't have rakes. So people can't repair what the damage they've done within the bunker. So, and it's always after the fact. They're not allowed, once they're in the bunker, they're not allowed to smooth and then drop. You have to drop outside of the disturbed area. So it's after the fact and after they hit the ball out of the bunker. So hopefully it's a little gray area in terms of testing the conditions of the bunker. But hopefully it's the best thing we can do to maintain the course, but also help the players where we don't have rakes.
Thank you, Sarah, for providing that information for Oakfield. From Craig, will you be reviewing the rules on caddies and spectators as we move through all events, or are we just saying none for the year?
So this is a tricky question because COVID's a moving target. We will reassess later on, but for the 2 AMs and the juniors, we're sticking to our protocols just because they're some of our bigger events. Again, we will reassess possibly the beginning of August, and things might change for the senior and the senior 4-ball, but it all depends on the what's happening in Nova Scotia at the time. So. But we are prepared to reassess, yes. And maybe the mid, yeah. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe the mid. Yeah, we don't know. It's where now the Atlantic bubble has opened is now a thing. We do have competitors that are crossing borders as of now. So we've been taking registrations for that. So just as soon as our doors open, people from other provinces have been coming over, which is good. But at the same time, it can complicate the situation. So, but as right now, yeah, as Ann said, we're going to assess as we progress through this championship season. Okay.
Awesome. So again, if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to email us. We are always available, especially this time of year. It's all hands on deck. So we will respond within a reasonable amount of time, especially when it comes to these sort of questions and concerns around COVID. So this is a priority for us. So again, call us, email us if you have any questions between now and championships.
Yeah, and if you want to look at this video again, we have recorded it, and it will be on our YouTube channel, so you can go back for reference as well. So that'll be available to everybody here tomorrow.
Yeah, and all the rules updates will be in the standard local rules and the supplementary local rules. So be sure to review those before the championship. The standard local rules will have the NSGA policies in there in terms of flags, caddies, and bunkers. And then the supplementary is course specific. So it's always good to know and review those prior to a championship. So just double check those. I think we'll be posting those tomorrow, either tomorrow or Tuesday, if they haven't been already.
Yeah. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody on the first tee. Have a great night, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.